Tell me if this sounds familiar when you go to meal plan every week. The first thing you say is, what's for dinner this week? So you get out your blank calendar, you look through the fridge, maybe you're overwhelmed because there's a lot of stuff that needs to be thrown out that you didn't use last week. But you get some ideas down there, maybe you even found a new recipe on Pinterest that you're going to try. You make your list, you go shopping, you unload it all, you prep what you can, maybe chop up some vegetables to try to save yourself some time during the week. But then one night, your kid does not want what is on that meal plan, or you forgot to defrost the chicken last night, so you order takeout or you make something you've always made before, and your meal plan is out the window. And then you start all over next week. If this is you, I hate to tell you, you are in the dinner cycle of death, as I call it. This is the second mistake in the top 3 mistakes that you're probably making with your meal plan. If you haven't caught the first one, which is no more weekly meal planning, go watch that one here. And today we're going to talk about why a dinner-based meal plan just doesn't work. Why do I call it a dinner-based meal plan? Basically, because that's the first question we're asking ourselves. We're saying, what is for dinner? We're going to start with the dinner idea and then give us the ingredients and then go shopping and then make it. We're going to turn this around a little bit and I'll talk more about that later, but I want you to switch those top 2 and say, we're going to start with the ingredients first and then go to dinner ideas and then make a more streamlined grocery shopping list and then go make it. And I promise you it will be more effective when you're meal planning. So why do we do this in the first place? There's a lot of reasons. First, this is the way that everyone's done it. It's kind of status quo. Everybody has done it for this long. Like, this is just the way that most people do it. And I know that this might be a little bit out of the box to flip it down, reverse it. No, I can't remember that song. No, no, reverse it. Whatever. Either way, I digress. Uh, it might be a little bit different to switch it up, but I think it will help you. The other reason that we do this is that maybe we're just overwhelmed with the choices, and maybe your kids or your family has picky eaters in it, or food allergies, or sensitivities, or intolerances. So you're working with a limited list. So therefore, you're doing the same things over and over again and starting with that what's for dinner this week idea. The other reason that a lot of times we do this is we just don't know where to look for new dinner ideas. And I'm not going to suggest you go to Pinterest. Gosh, please don't do that. There's either, I never remember the actual number, it's either 8.2 million or 82 million chicken recipes on Pinterest. Either way, that's way more than you need to figure out just one new recipe for this week, right? Um, I mean, that's completely overwhelming with how many things are on Pinterest. Plus, you go onto Pinterest looking for a recipe, and let's be honest, we just end up down that rabbit hole. And before you know it, you've been on Pinterest for 2 hours, and you've got the bathroom remodeled. You've got a new recipe for homemade Play-Doh. Maybe you've got some new pillows you want to buy, and like new shoes for you're just all over the place because that's Pinterest designed it that way, like, right? They do a really good job at getting you down that rabbit hole and you're gone. So I don't recommend Pinterest for looking for new dinner ideas unless you make it very, very, very specific. Okay. So let's talk about the problems with this dinner-based meal plan, and then how do we fix it and how do we reverse it? So the first problem with this method is that you're starting from zero. You're starting from zero because you're just getting out that blank calendar, and you're starting with that question of, what are we going to put on this meal plan? What's for dinner this week? And you're starting with blank. I talk a lot more about this in that first video, the no more weekly meal planning. So I talk more about that in there. If you haven't seen it, go watch that one. The second problem with this method is that your family is probably bored with what they're eating, including you. And including whoever's doing the cooking. I'm not assuming that you're doing the cooking, but whoever is whoever's making it and whoever's eating it, if you're doing the same things over and over again, you can easily get bored. And then you try to go find something new and end up down that Pinterest rabbit hole. Or maybe a lot of times what we do is we try to find a new dinner idea that is so different than everything else we're eating, it ends up being too different and then nobody likes it and nobody eats it. Do you know what I'm saying? So we want to stay away from that as well. We don't want to go too far off course, but we don't want to make the same things over and over and over again either. We need to find that middle ground. So that's what I'm hoping to help you with. The third problem with this method of starting with what's for dinner is you end up with a lot of food waste. Things just go bad before you can eat it. And either that is the planning of what's going to be eaten, or again, we're trying new ideas and they're just not hitting home. Like they're just not being eaten, or there's a lot of leftovers, or whatever the case is. But this method really does, this traditional meal planning method and way that everybody does it, really doesn't set you up for success when you're reusing the same ingredients all the time, because you end up with those one-offs like hello oyster sauce in the back of the fridge that is like, I'm never going to use that again. I bought it for one recipe because I wanted to try something new, and now it's there. Unless I purposely go seek out a new recipe for oyster sauce, which, like, how easy would that be? Then it's just going to go to waste. So I don't recommend doing that. Buying those weird one-off ingredients that you're not going to use unless you are intentional about it and say, okay, well, this recipe needs oyster sauce. Let me go immediately find another one that does. But if you're that like organized and intentional, then you're probably not watching this video because your meal planning method is probably working for you. So the last problem with this method, this dinner-based meal plan, is going to be that you just think more is more, and that buying more ingredients will solve your problem. I've talked to a lot of people and clients that think that if I can just stock my kitchen like a chef, like stock it like a grocery store, I'll have everything I need. I won't have to go off and go buy those one-off ingredients. I won't have to go, to the store for something that I forgot because I'll have it. And you know the saying, less is more. And this is especially true in the kitchen with your meal plan. Like, you do not need more ingredients, you need fewer ingredients. You need to be less overwhelmed when you open your fridge or you open your pantry doors. It's just like that closet that I was telling you about. When you walk into a closet that is packed full of clothes and you just need one outfit, you're like, shoot, where do I start here? Same thing. When you open up your wherever you keep your food, your pantry, your fridge, whatever you're opening, and you just need one dinner, you're overwhelmed with all the different options. So we need to cut those down. Okay, so if I say don't do the what's for dinner meal plan, then what do? I use an ingredient-based meal plan. It's called a capsule pantry. It's a minimalistic way of meal planning. You can find out more about that method here, but I'm just going to give you the basics of an ingredient-based meal plan and just try to get you to shift your thinking a little bit so that you can make it easier on yourself day to day, week to week. Moving to an ingredient-based meal plan is going to help you be more organized. You have less things to organize. You have fewer ingredients in your cabinets or in your fridge or in your freezer. You automatically going to be more organized. You're going to be able to find everything you need, and you're going to know that you have it. That's probably the biggest one, is I know what I have because I don't have a million different types of diced tomato. I don't have diced tomatoes with celery and onions. I don't have diced tomatoes with hot peppers. I don't have stewed tomatoes with celery and garlic and onions, and then stewed tomatoes with just garlic and onion. Like, all of those things, like, when you can narrow it down to not having a million types of things because you know what your family likes, it's just so much easier and organized. The other thing is you'll waste less. like we talked about. You won't be buying those one-off ingredients. You won't find these things that you're not using in the back of your pantry or in the back of your fridge, and they like went to die and now they're bad and now they're covered with green, and they look like a science experiment like everybody says. Like, yeah. Um, what else does this do? An ingredient-based meal plan will also help you streamline your grocery shopping. This is probably the number one reason to do this, right? So you have fewer things on your grocery shopping list, which means you can automate your grocery shopping almost. I mean, that's one of the great things that came out of COVID, was being able to shop online, order. All of a sudden, all of the stores offering online pickup or delivery, Instacart, all of those things that help you when you have a smaller grocery list. So you're not shopping for 75 different things on your list. You've got maybe 30, and that's for all month. Okay, so um, definitely it will streamline your grocery shopping and make it easier. If you are a person that enjoys going to the grocery store and you want to go, or you want to maybe not let somebody else pick out your groceries and you still want to go, that's okay. But you can do it fewer times. You can maybe stretch it out to, 7 to 10 days if you were going every 3 to 4, or stretch it out even longer. I grocery shop twice a month, and that is it. Twice a month. Unless I am not organized and I'm not on top of my meal plan, which happens to everybody, right? I can like instantly know when I'm not on top of my meal plan because I've been at the grocery store for things that I've forgotten or things that I'm out of. So when you are following this method, though, you will not have to go to the grocery store every few days. That will automatically save you money. Now, I never say that a capsule pantry will help you save money, because I just don't want it to promote it as that type of product or that type of system. Um, but it's kind of automatic. If you're now on top of your meal planning, you're buying fewer items, you're able to pick things up on sale because you know that, chicken is this price when it's on sale, or you know that you need 4 cans of black beans for all of the meals that you have on the plan for this month, then you can either pick them up ahead of time, or if you see a sale, you can pick them up. There's less in your brain, you know? Like when your grocery list is crazy out of control, you can't keep track of prices and what's a good price. And I mean, prices are changing so much right now, and I get that too, but it's just kind of common sense. Like you're buying fewer things. Like maybe you're still buying enough to feed your family, obviously, but you're buying fewer varieties of things. So you're saving money. Okay. All right. That is why you should move over to an ingredient-based meal plan. And that is basically what this channel is going to talk about, with switching over from a regular meal plan to a capsule pantry, which is just a minimalistic way of meal planning. So this is why you should move from an ingredient-based meal plan instead of doing the what's for dinner meal plan that you're currently doing. So this was the second mistake in the top 3 mistakes you're probably making with your meal plan and what to do instead. Go watch 1, go watch 3, go watch about the capsule pantry and how you can do more with less in the kitchen, and stop ordering takeout and stop making the same things over and over again.